The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation sells around 1 million barrels of oil a day, or almost half of the country's total production. There are concerns that most of the money cannot be accounted for. In 2014, Nigeria's central bank governor said $20 billion in oil revenues went missing. A new report by the Natural Resource Governance Institute proposes ways in which Nigeria can stem corruption and ensure oil revenues will benefit the nation rather than individuals. Africa 54 business correspondent Alexis Christoforous spoke with one of the co-authors of the report.
Christina, you co-authored a report by the Natural Resource Governance Institute on oil in Nigeria. We see a lot of reports on this topic, but tell us what's different about this report.
Well, this report is different because it delves very deeply into a very complex and technical area of government crude oil sales that have been deliberately kept opaque, and lots of corruption and bad practices thrive in technicalities and complexities. So we hope that we've demystified the report and provided a useful tool for people who want to understand how the government sells its crude and where the waste and mismanagement is.
What were some of the key findings of that report, briefly?
The biggest area of waste and mismanagement that we found lay with NNPC's downstream arm, PPMC. Every year, PPMC gets 160 million barrels of crude oil for NNPC's refineries. Now, as you and I know, the refineries don't work very well. In fact, last year, they only ran at 14% of their capacity. But NNPC still gets the 160 million. So it's got 120 million barrels of crude oil that it manages. Now, it uses the money from that. It exports some of that crude and some of that crude for gasoline and kerosene, and it has been retaining more and more money this way. And under Nigeria's constitution, oil revenues should go to the federal revenue account, but it has been keeping more and more money back, retaining more money. Another area of concern that we identified is that Nigeria uses a lot of what we call middlemen to sell its crude. These are politically connected companies, or companies owned by individuals with political connections who don't necessarily have the money or the expertise to be selling Nigeria's crude. We think that they should at least be contracting this function out to qualified traders, or selling much more directly to refiners in foreign countries. We call them end users.
Is privatizing Nigeria's 4 refineries the answer, do you think?
Oh, absolutely. We think that the refineries should be privatized. We also think that the whole downstream should be privatized, because it's like an endless black hole for money. Mm-hmm. If you privatize them, you can raise money to invest in new, more profitable investments, and also you will stem the losses.
I thank you. We're going to have to leave it there. I thank you for your insights. Christina Katsouris is oil analyst from London for Energy Intelligence. Thanks so much for your time.